What, did you shave it all off?
I've done that before as well, yeah.
That's liberating. Forget the chest. The shaving the head.
Like, wait.
The amount of money I save in shampoo is incredible.
So how old were you when you shaved it all off then?
20, I think. Oh, in Japan, yeah.
Okay.
I think there gets a point in every man's life when the hair starts going a bit too much, and you're like, all right, what type of man am I going to be? Am I going to be a comb over guy from now on, or is it all going? And you have to make that manly choice. You have to be mature, shave it all off. Or could do what Prince William has done. Have you seen? He's rocking the horseshoe hairstyle.
I mean, that's a terrible look. Like,
It is a
you
terrible look,
immediately
but
look very, very old.
yes.
Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to English with Lewis. And this is another native British English conversation between myself and another amazing guest. And he's smiling, he's smirking, he's grinning. So, Ali, hello, welcome. How are you?
Hello. I'm just noticing your voice is so different when you're presenting to when you're just speaking normally. It goes up. It's ready to present.
Yeah,
It goes
it's
from
the whole
hello, how are you doing, to hello, how you doing? Like, it's that presenter voice that we all know. Yeah, it's great.
I mean, I bet you do the same thing, right?
I
If you're just
absolutely
chilling out.
do. I
There we go.
absolutely do. So what I do now is when I'm filming a video, I'll film the end first. So it's like, okay, all the nervousness is already at the end of the video, and then I'll go back to the beginning of the video when I've like calmed down and I've settled into it and I sound like a normal person again. So from the start, you sound like a normal person. At the end, you seem a bit nervous for some reason, but no one seems to care by that point.
So there's a system to turning it on. Like whenever I'm like training teachers or anything or giving them little
Yeah.
pieces of advice, I'll always be like, listen, it's like being a performer, like being an actor. You need to turn it on because usually I'm so laid back, chilled out, easygoing. I'm kind of murmuring with a lot of what I'm saying. And then as
Yeah.
soon as I start recording or teaching, it's like, hello, everybody, how are you?
Have you ever been recording so much in one day though? When you're finished, you can't turn it off. So you're talking to someone else, and like, why is my voice like this?
You'll go out for a nice relaxing pint with your friends and like, hello everybody, how are you? How's your day been?
Yeah, did you have
Awesome.
a nice day? Talking to everyone like they're a puppy.
And using gestures at the same time. It's like, oh, you know what
Yeah,
I'm talking about. This is what, it's just is what it is.
yeah. And whenever you talk about something past tense, you do this, like the pointing behind you for past tense. Yeah, this weekend, pointing forward in the
Or maybe
future.
someone makes a little mistake and you want them to
Yeah,
repeat what they're saying and you're like, just
yeah. The finger roll, the finger roll. Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
But anyway, that aside, Ali, could you
Yes.
do us a massive favor and introduce yourself? Tell everybody about you.
I didn't do that already. Sorry. I'm Ali. Hello. I teach English on Papa Teach Me, or Learn English with Papa Teach Me, or Papa English, however the hell you know my channel.
Perfect. And where did this kind of alias come from? Papa Teach Me.
The dumbest. It was the first and worst idea I had. Um, it was like an inside joke between me and my friend, very long to tell, and every single time I tell it, it's never funny. So I just refuse now. It's like it was the first idea for a channel name, and it's too late to change it now.
Okay.
So any suggestions? What if you had to rename my channel, what would it what's some names that come to mind? 'Cause
I mean, it depends if you want to put your name in the channel or not, because they're the two
yeah.
kind of options and avenues that you have. Do you make it all about you, which clearly I have done? Or
I was gonna say, was there a moment when you were like English with Lewis, or this other name? What was the other name?
I see, I've never really had a name for a company. Like, I still work for a company called Teachify, and I've been working there for 6 years. And that's kind of a cool name. It's got a nice ring to it. And then when I started posting my own independent content, I was like, well, my name's Lewis. I'm teaching English. So the only logical name is English with Lewis, or English and Lewis, or Lewis English. But I never really considered anything apart from that. And for you, I don't know. I mean, Ali English? Ali in the house.
But what's the house got to do with it, though?
Yeah,
Where does
not a
the
lot
house
of
come from,
English.
Lewis?
I was thinking of Ali G, you know?
Oh, see, okay, that's I get it. I like that now. You won
Okay.
me. You won me over.
Everybody let us know if you have any suggestions for Ali for his new channel name. Let us know in the
Anything else?
comments.
Anything other than Papa Teach Me just makes no sense.
And tell us more about your journey and starting teaching English and posting content on YouTube, because you've been doing it for a while. So how did it all come about?
I think it starts the way everyone else starts. I don't know about you. By the way, magnificent hairy chest. You have displaying it proudly as well. I love it.
I get a lot of comments about it, and it's just, I'm a hairy guy. Look at my arms as well. So I'm not going to
Oh
hide it.
wow.
This is me. I'm a wolf.
Question between me and you. No one else has to know. Have you ever shaved the chest? It's
I have.
liberating. And
I have done it, and I haven't done it for a long time, and I'm not going to do it. I don't think I'm ever going to do it again. But I used to
wow.
do it when I was kind of on the pull, let's say, and I was trying to flirt with people and hook up with people. And this was over a decade ago now. And I used to think that it was ugly to be like very, very hairy. And I didn't think that girls would like it. So
Right.
then I've tried a few different things. I've shaved my chest, I've waxed my chest. And then in the end, I was like, I
Oof.
can't do this all the time. And
Yeah.
then over time, think I've kind of realized that it looks a little bit weird and artificial if I actually wax or shave my chest. So I'm like, let it all out. Au
It
natural.
it absolutely does look very weird when you've shaved your chest. However, showering is just so much quicker.
Okay, this is the
Do you know how
practical
quick
aspect.
I'm in and out of the shower in 5 seconds. Just done.
Streamlined.
Yeah. But would you prefer it if we didn't if you had the option, someone was just like, okay, I can click my fingers and you will not have any body hair. Alopecia from the neck down.
You see, I'm too hairy, but I wouldn't want to be completely hairless. Like, it's true that, for example, now I'm kind of proud of it when it comes to my chest, but if and when I get back hairs and shoulder hairs, that's a little bit ugly. And if I could get rid of that permanently without having to, like, shave it sometimes if I'm going to the beach, then I would. But I think it's kind of who I am now. And I'm a hairy guy, and there's
You're owning it.
nothing I can do about it really. So no, I'm going to stay hairy. Embrace the
Nice.
hair.
I know, I like that. You're living your truth.
Exactly. I'd be living a lie if not.
Yeah. This is good. I like it when people own it.
Yeah, I just own it. That's it. But anyway, no. So you
Yeah.
you got distracted by my chest hair. Um, you
I
were
did.
about
It's
to
very
tell me
distracting. Channel. Yeah. Why just
the
I
channel and
think
English teaching
maybe
in
this
general.
maybe the same as you. I don't know. I think a lot of teachers start because they hear that if you are able to teach English, you can teach in any country. That immediately got me into teaching. Did it? Was that it for
Pretty
you?
much. Like, I went to university and studied Spanish, Italian, and Portuguese just because I didn't want to kind of close all of my doors. And,
Right.
like, my other option was to be a physiotherapist. And I thought, I can do languages and then travel and delay making a decision about my future because I'd be traveling and learning a language and maybe teaching English at the same time. Or
Yeah.
I can kind of double down and be a physiotherapist, which now I wouldn't want to be a physiotherapist because I was thinking about working for, I don't know, Barcelona Football Club and being a physio for the footballers, in reality, it's usually for elderly people and giving them little massages. So I was romanticizing it a lot in my mind. But yeah,
I got you.
it was kind of similar for me, just learning languages to travel.
Yeah, it's a big motivator to just move to another country.
Yeah. So
yeah,
where did you move? What was the first country that you went to and taught English in?
yeah, Japan was the first one. I think it's first for a lot of people, just because it's so different to growing up in England, like brighter, more exciting, more vibrant.
Okay. And how long did you stay there for?
A year. Yeah, the first time a year, and it was really interesting because the place I stayed is called Nishinari. Have you lived in Japan?
Never been. I've had conversations with other people who've been in Japan and I'd love to go, but I've never got round to it. So yeah, I'm all ears.
It's just very, very nice. It's the only way I can describe it. And so the place I lived in was a place in Osaka called Nishinari. And when I told my Japanese students, "Oh, I lived there and I lived in this place," they're like, "Oh, that's the most dangerous place in Japan." It's like, it's fine. It's like a little run down here and there, but I felt safer walking at like 2 or 3 a.m. on my own than I have in broad daylight in most parts of London.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, your dangerous place is way safer than all of our places.
Exactly, than everywhere.
So I really like that. Yeah. So I really I like that.
Perfect. You use a nice adjective, run down. You said that some areas were a little bit run down. And
yeah.
And a rundown neighborhood or a rundown area is a place that isn't kind of maintained very well, that maybe it's a little bit dirty, a little bit rough, a bit dodgy. So yeah, that area, for Japanese standards at least, was run down.
Yeah, I like that word as well, dodgy.
Dodgy is such a great word.
I feel like people choose if you're I say dodgy or I say sketchy person. Do you prefer dodgy or sketchy?
Dodgy 100%. I don't know if maybe sketchy is a little bit more southern than northern English. I'm not sure, but around my social circle, family and friends, sketchy exists, but dodgy is like a go-to word for so many different scenarios, both for people, for neighborhoods, for a little bit of everything, really.
I keep forgetting there's such a divide in just our choices in vocabulary, Northern English and Southern English. So, okay, there's a good question I heard to ask a Northerner, so perfect opportunity. When you're riding a bicycle, and someone is on the back, what do you call that?
A backy?
Yeah, we don't. We call... Shit, what do we call it?
It's like, oh, give me a backy.
Wait, no, that's what we say in the South. But there's another... Oh, yeah. I have another Northern friend who told me it was a different one. Shit, but there's like apparently tons of different words for this very specific thing in Northern English.
I mean, there's that, and another example is like a bread roll.
Yes!
There are so many like maps of like in each specific area what you call a bread roll. Personally, I'd say a bap.
See, I always thought a bap and a roll were two different things because rarely do you have multiple words for the exact same thing with food.
It's just, I guess, left to imagination.
Yeah. But there's other ones, right? There's bap, roll.
There's bap, there's a roll,
there's a big
cob.
Two. A what?
Cob is a common one. Like C-O-B.
A cob. Who calls
like
it
corn
a cob?
on the cob.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's common in Lancashire or some areas of Yorkshire. Another one is a tea cake.
That's nice. That's a charming word.
It sounds good, even though it's not related to cake or tea. But this is a bread roll, by the way, everybody. So if you're making a sandwich and you want that soft kind of squidgy bread, kind of call it different things in different parts of the United Kingdom. I would personally say a bap or a bread roll, which I think is the most generic term.
Yeah. For me, though, a tea cake is that it's like slightly sweet with raisins in it that you toast. I thought that was a very different thing to a roll.
I'm not sure now. Like, maybe there are different types of tea cakes. One of them is the more generic one with like raisins inside it that you toast and put some butter on, which is pretty good. But maybe depending on the city you're from, then they might also call like a standard bread roll a tea cake. But don't hold me to it.
That's a good expression, to hold someone to something.
Exactly. What does it mean?
So when you say don't hold me to it, it's like don't take... Oh, it's a difficult one to explain. How would we say that?
It's kind of like don't take my word for it. Like don't trust me 100%. Like don't keep me accountable.
On. Yeah, don't trust me 100% on that. Or I may be wrong and I acknowledge that I may be wrong. Yeah.
And another nice expression, if you say that maybe for example, you've said something wrong or you realize that you made a mistake, you messed up or you screwed up, you could say, actually, no, I take it back. Like I withdraw what I say because I realize that, I've made a mistake. Yeah. Silly me.
That's a good one.
But anyway, I want to know a little more about Japan. So you lived in a dodgy area, a bit sketchy, as you said. And
dodgy and sketchy by Japan standards. But a year. It was lovely. Amazing. I loved that place. But and then come back teaching in London for a few years. Then YouTube channels. I thought, if I have some private students, I don't need to do the expensive living in London because I work here thing. I can work for myself. What's the best way to advertise that? YouTube channel. So it started as an advert to get private students, and then YouTube started paying the rent. So it's like, I guess this is my job now instead.
Perfect. And did it take off immediately? Like, did it blow up immediately?
It was not successful for a good few years, and then it became very, very successful, which is good, I think. Because I think if any teachers watch you as well, right?
I imagine so.
Or aspiring YouTube teachers or someone, I guess.
I suppose so. Let us know in the comments if so.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I think I definitely realized, and I know you probably do this too, everything you upload, you're like, I hope this is the one that goes viral. I hope this one goes viral. I hope this one is seen by millions. But that might happen, and you might even be talked about like for a week or so. But then the internet is very fast moving, and after a week, no one really cares. Unless if you have a catalog or a good foundation of good content, it's like, this video is popular, then people are interested in what you've made. If you've got that foundation, the catalog of a lot of other videos that are also very helpful, very useful, very informative, then people are likely to stay with you. Mm-hmm. So I think if you're just starting out, don't try and go viral with each single video. Build your foundation. What are you actually good at? What do you actually know? Be a teacher first, and then later you can try for the virality.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, the whole thing is, I guess, getting people to binge watch your content. And to binge watch is to watch over and over again, lots of videos in a row, lots of videos back to back. And in English, we also say binge drinking, which we're very famous for, which is drinking a lot, mainly at the weekend, getting really drunk, and then kind of going and doing dry January, for example, and not drinking at all. So you can binge watch, binge drink. I'm sure there are other ones, but they're the two most common ones.
Binge eat.
There we go.
Are you doing dry January?
No.
Did you do Movember?
I have done it before. and this year I didn't. But like I grow a mustache, but then it's usually thicker around like the beard area, and then yeah, I don't know why. I've shaved today, so you can't really tell. But with November, I like the idea of it, but then around day 15, 20, I get a bit fed up, and I'm like, should I just get rid of it? Should I just shave it off? And usually that's what happens. So
Yeah.
it's what it is. How about you? Do you normally do in November?
No. I don't know about you. My beard, I don't have that manly beard. Like when it grows, it just grows really rubbish. Never get that good beard. How about, do you?
I've
Like
never tried.
when it grows, does it go straight and down all in the same direction?
It gets to the awkward length, and
Yeah.
then I'm just like, I can't be
Done with it.
bothered. So
What's the longest you've had your hair and your beard?
like beard, probably only like a month's worth. So it's never got past like it's never been fluffy and full or anything like that. I've never had a proper beard. It's always like, let's say, extreme stubble, maybe. And my hair, I had like the Justin Bieber haircut. Actually, maybe I can show you. And this was
Wait,
when...
the whole this one?
Exactly. So I renewed my driving license like 2-3 years ago, but I forgot to change the photo. So this is when I think I was. I'll just cover any details.
Yeah.
This is
Wow.
yeah. That's when I was like 16, 17, and literally I went to school prom, and all of my best mates had exactly the same haircut. So everybody was kind of jumping on the bandwagon and following like sheep. But I've never really had it longer than that. Again, I get fed up and then I just cut it off.
What, did you shave it all off?
I've done that before as well, yeah.
That's liberating. Forget the chest. The shaving the head. The amount of money I save in shampoo is incredible.
So how old were you when you shaved it all off then?
20, I think. Oh, in Japan, yeah.
Okay.
I think there gets a point in every man's life when their hair starts going a bit too much, and you're like, all right, what type of man am I going to be? Am I going to be a comb-over guy from now on, or is it all going? And you have to make that manly choice. You have to be mature, shave it all off. Or could do what Prince William has done. Have you seen? He's rocking the horseshoe hairstyle.
I mean, that's a terrible look. Like,
it is a terrible look, but
look very, very old.
Yes, but he has that. He's got that. I definitely don't care about this confidence to pull it off.
Yeah. I mean, he's also a member of the royal family, so he's got it pretty good. Like, it's like it doesn't really matter what he looks like or anything like that. But
he's not looking for validation.
Nah, I mean, he's already ruling. Well, he doesn't. Are we going to talk about the royal family?
I'm not committed to it.
Me neither. If I could choose, I would do without it. Dun, dun, dun. Down with the royal family.
100%. We're on the same page there. I wasn't sure whether you were talking about hair or the royal family then.
I mean,
when you said I could do without it.
The topic of the conversation at the moment is hair.
Yeah. This has been a very hair-centric interview for you. I apologize.
And Bold Life, when you shaved it all off, did it feel liberating? Did it take a while to get used to?
No, it's so nice from the get-go. From the start. From the get-go, you're like, I never have to worry about this again. I don't need a brush. I don't need any hair product in my life forever. It's a huge burden to be lifted.
Exactly. And now you're owning it, you know? It was a nice expression you said earlier about me and my chest hair, that you just kind of like, I'm going to own it. I'm going to just roll with the punches and adapt. And this is me from now on. And yeah, you're owning it.
Yes. Having said that, if someone gave me the option, I'd be like, yeah, I want hair again.
Oh, really?
Just for the option. I'd probably still shave it off. I just want the option. I don't want to be like, you cannot have hair. I want to. I want to have. I want it to be my choice to shave my head.
I mean, it's an interesting thing to think about. Like, obviously,
Yeah,
everybody is born, or most people are born with hair, and then you have it during your teens, and then for many people, it'll start to get thin, and you'll lose it. And this is the big moment of, okay, do I shave it all off?
yeah,
Do I buy loads of wigs? Or do I get a hair transplant, or all of these things? So,
yeah.
big decisions in life.
Do you know anyone who's gone to Turkey for the cheap hair transplant?
Yeah, yeah. And I would recommend it to anyone. I mean, it looks good on people. If you want to do that, I think you either completely own it and then you're like, all right, 100%, I'm a bald man. Or you think, well, if I want to have hair, go for it. Don't waste any time. Make the decision. Bite the bullet.
Nice. I like that. I like how you got that in there. That was nice.
Expressions galore. If anybody doesn't understand any of the expressions we're using and advanced vocabulary, just let us know and I'd love to explain them for you. Now, let's go back and move away from hair again. And you're from London? Are you from the city centre?
Yeah, pretty much born there, grew up a little bit outside London, and then moved back into London as soon as I started teaching. And then, yeah, pretty much London. Since so I tell people I'm from London because it's just easier. Like if you're traveling and you say I'm from Dunstable,
Uh-huh.
no one knows where that is. So London.
London it is. And
Yeah.
I'm going to London in a month, more or less, for a romantic weekend. What kind of neighborhoods, areas, and plans would you recommend that I do?
For a romantic time.
Yeah, for a good time.
All right, so absolutely not London Eye. I no one needs to be on that. So if you want a really romantic evening in London, at some point you have to walk up Primrose Hill
Okay.
in the evening when it's dark because you can see all over London. It's a beautiful park. You see all over London for free. You get a better view than the London Eye, and it's near Camden because you're a tourist. Of course, you're going to want to go to Camden. And then, what type of food do you like eating?
Absolutely everything. I've got a nut allergy, so I have to be a little bit careful with that and take my EpiPen just in case. But aside from the nut allergy, I love everything and eat everything. I'm a big fan of curries and Indian food. A roast dinner is always really, really nice. And
My God.
Italian is a crowd pleaser. Who doesn't like Italian food? Mamma mia.
Well, funny you should say that because there's I think my favorite Italian restaurant is called La Mia Mama
Okay.
in London. Um, yeah, if any of you are looking for a romantic time, go to La Mia Mama. It's the vibes there are very. I don't know if it's every night or if that was a special night, but when I went there last time, there was like the customers were singing, like
Okay.
not just like happy birthday singing in a restaurant, but they were like singing Italian songs.
Uh-huh.
So like the vibes in there are very nice. The food is extremely good. Yeah.
And with Italian restaurants, what would be your go-to order? Like what kind of starters or main courses or desserts would you tend to order?
Ooh.
Hmm.
I love creamy cheesy things with truffle. Have you tried truffle?
Yeah. Well, I've never tried like real truffle. I've tried
Who
like
could? No one can afford real
fake
truffle.
truffle or like
Same,
truffle
same.
flavors, but I've never tried
Yes.
the real thing.
No one's that rich. I don't know who has real truffle money, but it's no one I know.
Yeah, not us.
Yeah, no.
But no, truffle's great. I mean, it's tasty. It's a unique flavor, but it's addictive
Yeah.
at the same time, I think.
How would you describe it if you had to? Because I have no idea how you'd describe. There's nothing like it. It's very unique, right?
I'd say the nearest thing is maybe like mushroomy flavors because it's kind of like
Mm.
earthy and very like umami.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, if you haven't tried truffle, just try it. But of course, truffle flavored things. That's not actually real truffle.
It's such a unique flavor. It's very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have
But anything
anything cheesy, creamy, and truffly.
cheese, cream, and truffle, you got a great meal right there.
Forget all the tiramisu. And well, tiramisu is kind of cheesy and creamy. So I take it back.
This is true. This is true. You can take it back. Nice. What's your go-to order in a
I
Italian?
mean, I love any kind of pasta. I also love pizza. I don't tend to go for cheesy and creamy, but like seafood maybe to start, perhaps like linguine alle vongole, which is like a clam linguine, which is really nice, refreshing, kind of citrusy at the same time. And then the kind of normal thing to do when you go to an Italian restaurant is start with pasta, then have a main meal of meat or fish.
Yeah.
Steak's always delicious. So a nice kind of steak from like Fiorentina region. That would be good with some roast potatoes, with some rosemary. And then my go-to desserts are always tiramisu or panna cotta. And the two of them, I could just eat them forever. Like I'd never get fed up of it.
Yeah. There's a they're they're pretty epic.
Very. And so you're from London. Right now, you're in New York, right?
I am. I'm house sitting and dog sitting. Um, should I show you the dog?
Yeah, please.
Very cute.
Aww.
She's just
Aww.
being cute.
Hello.
She's a Weimaraner.
Okay.
She's extremely cute.
Is she well behaved as well?
She's the chillest dog ever. She's very well behaved. She doesn't even bark. Like the loudest she gets is like a big grunt when she's hungry or she wants to go pee. The rest of the time she's just very chill. So yeah, this is my first time dog sitting, by the way. I have lizard sat and now dog sat and house sat. So sitting's kind of fun. Have you ever sat?
I mean, I'm sitting right now, but I've never dog sat or lizard sat or rabbit sat or anything like that. I've never really baby sat either. Cat sitting.
You never babysat?
Not really. Not like independently. Maybe like helping out my sister when I was younger.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Cousin. No, I'm not. Well, I'm sitting right now, but I'm not really a sitter.
But no, that's what I mean. Even just like for friends or family, not even a cat sit.
Not really. I mean, maybe people don't trust me. That might be the outcome of all of this.
It's the hairy chest.
Yeah, that must be it.
I can't trust this guy with my lizard.
He must be dodgy.
Yeah, he must be. He looks very sketchy with that.
But New York, I've never been to New York. What's it like, and what have you been doing whilst you've been dog sitting so far?
Not much because it's very, very windy, very snowy, and awfully cold. It's biting cold. So if my hands aren't in my if my hands aren't in my pockets, they freeze up. But yeah, I was thinking of the term "it's biting cold" yesterday because I was like, it's very rare that I would say biting cold because it never gets to that level. But it's a special level of cold. Yeah, when things start to go numb on your face and it hurts.
Ugh. I mean, I know what you mean with like poor circulation. Like sometimes when it's really, really cold, the ends of like my fingers will go a little bit blue and a bit purple. And you're like, it's freezing. It's Baltic. Ooh, shivering.
Again, another northern thing. It's Baltic.
That's a nice one, though.
Yeah, I like it, but in the south we can't pull that off. We don't sound cool when we say that. It's Baltic. See, it feels wrong, but in your northern accent, it feels right.
It's interesting because, like, you mentioned the kind of north-south divide in the United Kingdom, in England, really, and what we would say for Southerners, we call them like soft Southerners. So we call them soft, that they're not very like brave and all of this stuff. And I've heard that in the South, people say northern monkeys. Is that the case?
I've heard. See, the first time I heard that was when someone explained the meaning behind the name Arctic monkeys,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, "Northern monkeys? I've never heard that expression before." But we do say northern something, and I can't remember what it is. Northern. We're English. It's probably just northern wanker.
It'll be a swear word for
Yeah,
sure.
southern softies.
And softies or soft southerners, it's just the way it is. And that's a very kind of child-friendly insult, because if someone's soft, we're not swearing, it's nothing wrong,
Yeah,
it's absolutely fine, just
wanker
soft
is
southerners.
not child safe.
But it's a very common word,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it
so
has to
true.
be taught at some point. And if you didn't live in London, where
Yeah.
would you live? Could be anywhere in the United Kingdom or elsewhere around the world. Decisions.
I feel like from England, you have to choose somewhere warm. No, I don't know. Honestly, I haven't visited there in years, but the people I know who live in Australia seem to really, really, really like it, and they've got the good warm weather. They're basically English people, probably there.
Okay.
What about
And
you?
I mean, I'd go Spain, because I've lived in Spain in the past. I love Spanish food, Spanish culture. There are some things that I don't share, but the majority of things I really like. And it's kind of close enough to home that you can go from Manchester to Seville or Madrid in 2.5 hours, give or take. Whereas if I lived in Australia, which I agree, it's amazing,
Yeah,
it's just too far. Like, getting a plane and spending all day, like 24 hours traveling, is not for me at all. But everything else about Australia is amazing. It's just so far away. Like, put it somewhere between the United States and the United Kingdom, and it'd be amazing.
yeah, yeah. That'd be great. Wait, I want to go back to something you said.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite thing about Spain?
I'd say probably the tapas culture. So whenever I have these conversations, I always end up speaking most about food, because it's what kind of I get up for in the morning. And
Yeah,
right now, if I'm working, I'll be thinking, oh, in a couple of hours, I'm going to have dinner. Can't wait. So excited. But like the fact that you can walk around in a city until 11, 12 o'clock and get really good quality tapas. So you don't have to get a big meal. You can get lots of different things. So then you can try a wide array of ingredients and dishes. And at the same time, you can have a couple of beers. You can go from one bar to another. So it's the kind of laid back nature of being able to eat out until late and have a lot of variety. Because for me, there's nothing worse than sitting down in a restaurant and thinking like, oh, so many wonderful things, and I can only choose one. So in Spain, if you're getting tapas, you can choose 10 of them. It's
bit of
perfect.
everything. Yeah,
So yeah, I don't know if you've been to Spain much, or what you think
I've
of the
never
country.
been to Spain.
What? Never been to Spain?
Never. Okay, here's the question: if you had 24 hours in Spain, it doesn't matter which part. You can choose the part, but you have 24 hours. How do you get the most out of that one day that you have there?
I mean, I'm not an alcoholic, I promise. But usually I'd start off in the morning and I'd go out for breakfast and have like some toast with good ham, olive oil, a little bit of salt and tomato with a coffee or two. go for a little walk around. If it's summer, then maybe if you're by the beach or you have a swimming pool, having a nice swim is always a good option. And then from there, like 1 o'clock, have a couple of beers, have some olives, maybe start off with your first tapas, move to the next place, and just keep kind of walking around the city, because usually the cities are nice, very pedestrianized as well. And you can just go from bar to bar, eating, drinking, continuing like that until 5-ish, maybe. And then you might have a couple of gin tonics, for example. And then you're starting to get a little bit tipsy and a little bit drunk. So maybe you could play some cards, for example, or you could keep walking and see some tourist sites. But to be honest, I prefer sitting down and looking at buildings from outside rather than going inside like museums and stuff like that. Call me uncultured, but it is what it is. And then suddenly at like 7, 8 o'clock, it's time to eat again. So keep going until it's nighttime.
Yeah, what's the thing with dinner times in Spain?
So usually,
Do we eat dinner crazy early, or I can't remember which way around it is? But
like,
they always criticize us for the time we have dinner, right?
yeah, I think there needs to be some kind of like meeting in the middle, because some Spanish people will have dinner at 10:30 or 11, which during the week is impossible. Like I like to be in bed and asleep by midnight, so I can't have a big meal at 11 o'clock. But
Right.
then I remember growing up, maybe when you're an adult, British people don't have dinner so early. But when you're at school, it'll be at like 5 o'clock or 5:30. And then you've still got so much more of the evening to kind of spend doing nothing. So I don't know. What time do you normally have dinner?
It can vary. I can have dinner at like 5 or 6, or I can have it at 10, 11 at night. Makes no difference to me.
So you're not a creature of habit in this.
No, but I'll also be snacking like before and after. So I'm just constantly eating all day. I have
Basically,
no.
like what Spaniards do. If you go to Spain for
Oh,
24 hours, just eat constantly.
it sounds perfect then.
Exactly. A match made in heaven.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So that's your favorite thing. Tell me what the best thing to do would be. What is something, in your opinion, Spain does really shit? What's something they cannot get right?
Hmm. Hmm. Decisions. Like with bars and restaurants, I think they do a lot of this very, very well. Um, I've mentioned before that one thing that kind of grates on me and like annoys me a little bit is the fact that people speak very loudly, generally speaking. So when you're in a
In
bar and a
public
restaurant,
or oh, okay, right.
then sometimes you're trying to have a conversation with someone else, and then there's a big group next to you, and they're all screaming and shouting, and then I'm like, come on, guys. I never tell them to quieten down, but that's something that sometimes gets on my nerves. Other stuff, I don't know. I mean, the taxes could be lower in Spain, but you could say the same thing like there with every country, maybe. Uh, I don't know. Like, they do a lot of things very, very well. That's just one little thing that sometimes gets on my nerves.
I don't know. That's it's not a controversial enough answer. We need to get you cancelled with this one. What food do they do wrong? Let's make people angry.
Yeah, I mean, I have got a lot of love for Spain. I'm not sure. A food that they do wrong.
Yeah. What
Mm,
what's something that every Spanish person loves, but you're like, I don't see the hype in this.
So I'm not going to answer that question because honestly, I'm not 100% sure. But one thing that they do badly is kind of adapting everything for vegetarians and vegans, which now it's improving a lot, 100%. And I'm not vegetarian or vegan. But if I'll go out to a restaurant with a friend who is, then usually the only options for vegetarians or vegans will be a salad, for example. And then it's like, well, come on, like you can do better than that, guys. So that's
Yeah.
one thing that I've heard from other people, that they don't really cater for people with more dietary requirements as much. but it's true that this is changing quite a lot. So I remember that used to be a problem 5-10 years ago. Nowadays, all of the menus, they have all of like the icons, and usually they'll go out of their way a little bit more to provide tasty dishes for people who don't eat meat or fish, for example.
Right. And then I imagine like gluten-free stuff is just non-existent.
Again, it's improving. Didn't really exist 5 years ago, but now
Yeah.
you can tell that there are certain restaurants where there will be like, okay, all of these dishes are gluten free, so take your pick.
Wow.
So yeah. And for you, was there anything in Japan that you really couldn't stand?
Ooh. No, I couldn't stand. There was a lot of kind of weird things that stuck with me because it was interesting enough to be. I don't know. So one of the I don't know if it was one of the first questions you get asked a lot. No, it is. It's like way too early in a relationship you get asked your blood type.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Like everyone, it's just a normal thing in conversation. Hey, what blood type are you? I feel like as British people, if I ask you, hey, what's your blood type? I sound like a murderer. Like,
I don't even know. I'd have to ask my mum.
right? I didn't even know until I was in my 20s. But yeah, the amount of times I got into a conversation with Japanese people or people getting to know each other. So, what's your blood type? That's such a psycho question to ask for as a British person. But again, they can pull it off because I guess everyone is interested in blood types.
Do you know why?
Yes. No, I used to. It might, I think it's adjacent to horoscopes. So, like, I think there's like a personality with each blood type, as there is with horoscopes. Is that type of thing.
Okay. So it's all spiritual, I guess.
Yeah, I might be remembering that completely wrong, so don't hold me to that.
And if you are remembering it wrong, you can always take it back, you know?
I'll just take it back.
Just
Yeah.
take it back, it's fine. No, anyway, before we wrap up and finish off with the conversation today, I'm curious. It's January, it's the beginning of the year. Have you got any New Year's resolutions? And do you believe in New Year's resolutions in general?
I'm just saying out loud something that I'm not going to do, but I want to do. So I gave up on them a long time ago. What would be a resolution though?
So you're not going to sign up at the gym tomorrow and start only eating salad?
Okay, no, one that's easy to stick to, I think, is less sugar. It's not no sugar, it's not something unrealistic. Less sugar is manageable, that's doable.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, good luck.
What about you?
I mean, I've got a lot. I'm a little bit of a psycho when it comes to like making goals and objectives to kind of hold myself to something and then be able to assess it and look back on it in a year. A lot of them are related to growing my following, making more content, staying as consistent as I like to be. So that's all good. Hopefully, I'll be able to stick to these objectives. And then others, over Christmas, I was playing a lot of darts. Because over Christmas, you can watch it on TV. You have like the World Darts Championship. When I go to a pub, then it's nice to have something to do at the same time. So I was practicing and realizing that I'm terrible at darts. And it's a kind of common theme for like technical sports. Like I'm good at kind of physical sports, but not technical ones, and pub
Yeah.
sports. So like snooker, terrible at it. Tennis, awful at it. Darts, horrible at it. So what I want to do is get better at darts and paddle, because now paddle, the sport, it's kind of taking over the world. It's a very sociable activity, and
Which
I've
one's
played it a couple
paddle?
of times. It's like paddle tennis. Maybe you've heard of it.
Like table tennis?
No. So you should give it a go. I've only done it twice, but it's very common in parts of South America, Spain, Italy, and it's starting to become common in the UK as well. And it's kind of like tennis, but tennis doubles, but an easier version. So you can hit it against the wall and it can bounce, and then you can continue. And the serving is much easier. It's like underarm rather than kind of overarm.
I hate
And
overarm.
you always play with two teams, two on each side. And yeah, it's kind of fun and it's easy for beginners. So there's no like really difficult learning curve. So these are the two sports that I want to
How
get
big are the
into.
paddles?
It's like a tennis racket, more or less. But instead of having like the fibers of the tennis racket, it's like, how would I describe it? It's like a big paddle for ping pong. But it's the same size as a
What?
tennis racket,
Okay.
more or less.
Same shape?
More or less. A little bit rounder, maybe. A little bit bigger, again, because it's
Okay.
better for beginners. But no, paddle or paddle tennis. Check it out.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of want to play that. It's like squash, but
Yeah,
weird.
it's very similar to squash as well.
Yeah. Okay. I have to check that one out.
So yeah, you can take up darts and you can take up paddle as well. And then when I go to London for that romantic weekend and I go to Primrose Hill, I'll be like, hey, do you want to play paddle, darts, and then go for some kind of creamy, cheesy, truffly pasta?
That's a great plan.
Sounds good, right?
It sounds great.
Awesome. But no, Ali, we've got to call it a day. I've got to go. I've got a class in 10 minutes. So it's
Oh,
been a
shit.
pleasure getting to know you more and talking about random different stuff. We've kind of been waffling on about everything from
Yeah.
hair to truffle and lots of different stuff. But
Back to hair
hopefully,
again.
yeah, hopefully people have learned some nice advanced expressions and enjoyed this little chit chat. And yeah, Ali, if you want to do it again, I'd be absolutely delighted to do so.
Oh, thanks for inviting me on. Yeah, let's definitely do this one again.
Perfect. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your time dog sitting.
Cheers, bud.
Also, thank you for watching, everybody, and see you next time. Bye bye.